Okay, this is going to be the second installment of my language books. I think this time it's going to be fewer, but not a lot fewer. But anyway, okay, here we go. Again, a little bit of a smorgasbord of stuff. I have learned Japanese by reading manga, Japanese the manga way, an illustrated guide to grammar and structure by Wayne P. Lammers. A lot of people like this book. I don't really like use it, but it's interesting. Mm, Basic kanji book. This is uh Bonjisha Company, Chieko Kano, Yuri Shimizu, Hiroko Takenaka, Eriko Ishii. This is volume one. These are very good books for learning kanji. They give you like practice. I don't know if you how well you can see that. Anyway, so yeah, I have a bunch of these, but this one is by itself here. I don't know what the other ones are. I have the Japanese from Zero series. This is Japanese from Zero, book three. Um, I forget his name. Yeah, Trombley and his wife, Yukari Takanaka. I think it's his wife. I also have their book, Kanji from Zero. If you like, if you like, these books are good. It's very slow, it's progressive, but very slow and progressive. So if that's your flavor, I recommend these books. For me, it's a little too slow. Although maybe I need it because I'm not really making progress any other way. I have this book, Strategies for Reading Japanese, Setsuko Aihara with Graham Parks. Um, Interesting method. It's just, yeah, basically what you think it is. Um, an innovative approach to speaking and reading Japanese is Japanese Step by Step by Jean Nishi. I have another version of this book or another edition of this book. Oh, here it is. As a matter of fact, same book, Japanese Step by Step, Jean Nishi, just different edition. Here's the Japanese from Zero, book one. I think book one only covers hiragana, and then book two katakana. So when I mean slow, I mean pretty slow. I mean they do include a little bit of I think kanji. Don't hold me to that, but it's really slow going. Okay, let's learn kanji, an introduction to radicals, components, and 250 very basic kanji. This is by Joyce, Yumi Mitamura, and Yasuko Kosaka Mitamura. Yasuko's, I'm taking the husband. Very, very famous book, Japanese for busy people. This, who's the author? Is it? I want to say Chang, but I'm not sure. The new version of the most effective course of spoken everyday Japanese. There's number one here, so yeah, I'm assuming there's another edition. Um, who is the author? Oh, I give up. Let me put some here. Japanese for Dummies. These Dummies books are always better than you'd expect. Hiroko Chiba, Eriko Sato, PhD. Okay, more Japanese books. This is Cure Dolly. Obviously not her real name. She has a YouTube channel. If you want to learn Japanese grammar, I highly, highly recommend you find her YouTube channel, Cure Dolly, and it will like lift the veil. Japanese grammar is not that hard. Okay, but I have this book, A Slice in Kanji Land. This didn't work for me to learn kanji. It's not her fault, probably. It's mostly mine. But she has another book, and I don't know if I have it here, but she has another book I would recommend if to learn the Japanese grammar. It's not extensive, it's just key things, but they're important things. Easy Kanji, Basic Guide to Writing Japanese Characters by Fujihiko Kaneda. Calligraphy by Mayasa Katayama and Rika Sagano or Sagano. I don't know. Anyway, more kanji stuff. I have, of course, everybody has the Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar by Seiichi Makino and Michio Tsutsui. The Japan Times Limited, no, sorry, the Japan Times publisher. I have this interesting book here. It's called Basic Japanese Course. I showed, in my other video, I showed you the Naganuma book, the Now Naganuma. This is slightly different, but basically the same content, but different sentences. Basic Japanese Course, Naoe Naganuma, um, Romaji, Romaji. Famous kanji learners course. This is the Andrew Scott Conning um, book. Okay. And forward by Jack Halpern. Halpern is big, like big name. Um, I have this book. This is the test. No, this is just 500 words. Yeah, this is the N4, N5 test, the Japanese tests. I forget what they're called. I forget what the test is called, but this is the vocabulary. So I'm assuming it's just 500 words. Okay. And then I have this. This is Kenneth Henshaw's A Guide to Remembering Japanese Characters. Gives you the characters, gives you mnemonic devices. You can come up with your own, but sometimes it's helpful when others do it, especially if they have a little bit of it, like historical background to them. Okay, let me reach way over here. Actually, let me put this over here. Sorry, and then I can grab these over here. I have the Greek books, Athanasi. I have book one, and I have book two. To learn modern Greek to ancient Greek. Yeah, that didn't sound right. Ancient Greek. Another book for classical Greek, 46 stories in classical Greek. I used to be able to read Greek. It's nothing to learn, but I can't anymore. I've forgotten too much. Um, Again, learn to read Greek. This is the textbook, I believe, part one. Yeah, and then I think there's a workbook, which I don't remember whether I have or not. Then I have these two books, which Dramatike. Yeah, yeah. Um, Biblio Doc. I can't read anymore. Sorry, guys. This is the workbook for the grammar, and this is the a grammar of modern Greek. So this is modern Greek, not ancient Greek. I have the workbook and the not not too hefty. Okay. More Japanese stuff. No, more Chinese stuff from well, Chinese stuff. Reading and writing Chinese. This is the traditional characters. So like in Hong Kong with the Cantonese, they use the traditional characters to read. In Beijing, they use the what are they called? The short characters or the something? I forget. They're not traditional characters. They're simplified characters. Rapid literacy in Chinese, new approaches to learning Chinese. Uh, yeah, I have this book. I won't go too much into it. This is very popular, very good textbooks. Basic Chinese, uh, an introduction to reading and writing for beginners. This is a Tuttle book. Cornelius C. Kubler. I have this book. Some Russian textbook and workbook here. Um, Golotsa, Golosa, Golosa, a basic course in Russian, book one, fourth edition. And then I have the workbook. Golosa. I don't know how to. I don't know where the stress goes. Uh, Learn Russian phrases and vocabulary by Eov Mikhailov. Uh, okay. Another another textbook and workbook. Is this the workbook? They're both hardcover. Uh, Nachalo, Nachalo, Nachalo. Nachalo. I don't know which one it is. This is book one, and then this is Nachalo one in Russian. This is book two. So it's not workbook. I think they're both textbooks. Okay, I think that's enough for that stack here. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Russian in 10 minutes a day. This is not bad. Like if you're not super serious or you just want to get in a little bit Russian little by little, like this is not bad. Like I wouldn't exactly recommend it, but yeah, if you find it cheap somewhere, you might want to pick it up. Um, A Key to Chinese Speech and Writing. Joel Ballison and Thang Peng Peng. I'm assuming that's a T. This is volume one, the Sinolingua series, which is a pretty popular series, I believe. I have a Russian for Dummies. Did I have Russian for Dummies in my other series? Maybe I have two of these books. Um, anyway, Andrew Kaufman, PhD, Serafima Geddes, PhD. Again, these Dummies books are always better than you would expect, so not bad. Another book. This is a popular book title, Basic Russian. I have one by Fair. I think it was called Basic Russian. This is by Domar. It's a McGraw-Hill book, an old one, obviously. Yeah, I like the Fair one a little bit better. Hugo. Hugo's an old language company, kind of like Living Languages, Pimsleur, and Asimov. I don't think Hugo ever really like stuck. I don't think Hugo was around when CDs came out. Like I think all their stuff is on tape. But they put out good books. Their books that accompanied those tapes were excellent. And so Russian in 3 months. Obviously, you're not going to learn Russian in 3 months, but they give you a lot of the basics in a well organized way. And yeah, so I recommend Hugo books. If you find Hugo books on eBay, pick one up for yourself. Here's another Russian for beginners book. This is by Ovsienko, uh, Ruski Yani Publishers. Um, yeah, all of these books are generally going to get you going with greetings and then like the personal pronouns and then maybe like the verb to be. What I don't like is when they overdo it with the vocabulary each chapter, and I think this one is one of those books where it kind of overdoes it. Anyway, Oxford's Beginner Chinese Dictionary. I have this book here. Nothing to say, it's just a dictionary. Another pretty good book, Russian for Beginners. This is not a bad book. This is a Barnes and Noble's language book. Simplified Introduction to Grammar with Basic 4,000 word vocabulary, Conversation, Classical and Soviet Readings. Charles Duff, Dmitry Makarov. Let's see. What is the first? I don't want the vocabulary. I don't want the alphabet. Что это? Это карандаш. А это книга. Это комната. А это стол. А, это письмо. Не, это письмо. Нет, это слово. Это книга. Нет, это стол. Это дама. Нет, это Вера. Кто это? Это дама. Это дама? Нет, та. Кто там? Иван. Где Иван? Там Иван. Иван тут? Нет, он там. Где Иван и Вера? Иван тут, а Вера там. О, тут, а она там. Дама там? Да, она там. Вот где дама. Вот где дама. Где тот карандаш? Э, этот карандаш? Нет, тот. Вот он. Вот он где карандаш. Anyway, yeah, that's my Russian pronunciation. I think it's kind of okay. I've been at it a little bit and I watch enough videos to kind of think like I'm kind of getting it. I don't know everything I just said. I know a lot of it, but going that fast, I can't process it yet. If I slow down and like read it without looking at the English side, it has an English side. Uh, yeah, I would get most of that. Anyway, uh, Russian, Oxford. A takeoff in Russian from complete beginner to intermediate level in 14 easy understand units. It's hard to believe considering how thin this book is. What you'd expect. I have the Langenscheid's Pocket Dictionary for Latin. These Langenscheid's Pocket Dictionaries are very, very practical just because of their size and because of the selections of the words that they have in there. Every once in a while I look up a word and I can't find it, but okay. It's a tiny book. Um, Russian dictionary, I picked this up relatively cheaply. I want to say, no, it's $3. So yeah, maybe I spent more than I would want to on a book like this. But like this is something like I would just throw in my car, just have it in the back seat or have it somewhere in the trunk and like just have it with me. Um, here's another. This is a reader. This is called a Russian. What's it called? Graded reader. Yeah, it's Russian graded readers. It's books 1 to 5. Uh, anyway, general editors Otto F. Bond, George V. Brobinskoy, the University of Chicago. Okay, another reader. Russian stories, a dual language book. Ruskiye Рассказы. Am I reading correctly? I feel like I'm not. 12 short stories by Pushkin, Gogol, Tolstoy, and others in the original Russian and new translations edited by Gleb Struve. Um, yeah, great stuff. The authors are great. Yeah. Very, very popular book for self-learners, especially the Russian course. This is the Penguin book, A Complete Course for Beginners by Nicholas Brown. Very, very highly, highly regarded on Amazon, and I like it. I would say it's like my third favorite book to study Russian. So I don't use it because I have two other books that are better, I think. And you're like, what are they, idiot? I can't remember off the top. Anyway, so Chinese English Frequency Dictionary, a study guide to the Mandarin Chinese 500 most frequently used words by Yong Ho. God bless her. Let's hope it's a her. Um, okay, I have these flashcards. Is this Tuttle? Maybe it's not Tuttle. I don't know who it is by. Anyway, so I have volume two and I have volume one. Volume one and two flashcards. It's just a set. Yeah, this is Tuttle. Tuttle. Okay. Um, I used to buy flashcards, but I never ended up using them. So now I have a bunch of flashcards that I don't really use. I have this Russian flashcard set. Um, Visual education, not Tuttle. Spanish vocabulary. My students did not like using these. Oh, they use them, but they weren't really like learning enough. So I had to switch it up. This is the quick study ones. 1,000 cards. Okay. Let's do some Scots or Gaelic or Doric. If I could magically learn any language fluently and speak it, I think it would be Doric. Like, obviously, Russian would be 10 times more useful. Maybe not even 10 times, maybe like I don't know how many million times more useful than Doric, but just like I imagine myself speaking Doric fluently and it just cracks me up. And that alone is almost worth putting in the effort. I've tried, but it doesn't like yeah, I never see things through when it comes to languages. I see like it. So anyway, I have two of these. I have two of these, and these come with a CD, or I think maybe you can get it online. This is Scots Language Learner, the Luath Scots Language Learner, and this is not just Scots, it's Doric. Okay, the Doric, as a matter of fact. Again, Doric for Scot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Doric for SWATs, a course for advanced students. This doesn't look like an advanced book. Um, oh, it's kind of like a reader, so yes. Um, The super review, all you need to know for the Latin. I think this is a review for the Latin like AP test, or just a review in general. I don't remember. But anyway, these reviews are always helpful. 10 manzanas en la cabeza. Dr. Seuss in Spanish. How are you going to pass up Dr. Seuss in any language? You got to get Dr. If you find a foreign language book with Dr. Seuss, like you should just get it. Just yeah, just as a curio, you should get it. Uh, Gaelic, uh, not Irish Gaelic, but Scots Gaelic, uh, is my interest. Malcolm McLennan Dictionary. I have an excellent series, which is I started. This is the one I was using. Mm. And I think the CDs are online, like, or the audio is online. By Moray Watson. Progressive Gaelic 1, a complete academic course in Gaelic for beginners. Great. Number 2, number 3, and 4 completes the series. If you want to learn Gaelic, Scots, get this series. And I'm pretty sure the audio is online, or if you get it brand new. No, I think the audio is just online. I don't think there are CDs, which is better, right? Anyway, um, okay. Greek made easy. Reading Greek is easy, by the way. Like if you look at the alphabet and like intimidates you, get over that. It's super easy. Almost any language that has an alphabet and it just corresponds to sound for symbol, like it's not hard. Uh, Now some are harder than others, obviously, and I'm excluding things like Chinese and Japanese where you have to learn the kanji or the Hanzi. Anyway, so yeah, Greek made easy. I have this by George DeVry. Learn Swedish in 7 days. The ultimate crash course to learning the basics of the Swedish language in no time. Just some of the ways that they pronounce some of their syllables for me are hard. I love the way they talk. I love how they sound, especially the buxomy blonde, blue-eyed girls. But yeah, for me to make those sounds is a bit tough. Anyway, but I don't know. Like I never had too serious an interest in Swedish, but at some point I did try to like pick up the basics. This little book here on Quechua. Um, Rumasimi. Runasimi. Runasimi is like the language of the people. That's the word for Quechua, I think, in Quechua. Um, yeah. I also tried a little bit of like just getting the basics down of Quechua. More Doric stuff. Spikendoric. This is more like yeah, it's not, you're not learning the language, you're learning words from the language, if you know what I mean. Kind of like people sometimes like just learn Yiddish words, right? Like schlemiel or schlemazel, or, and then like these are used in the language. Doric is not so much used in the language, and speaking about English, but it's the same kind of idea. Anyway, this is the Latin. I think I shown you this before. Yeah, I had it. Oh, it's right here. So it's just a different version of the same Latin book. Uh, Not a bad way to learn Latin. There's many options though. Maybe I'll go into it later when I get to my Latin books. This is just like, yeah, these are just oddball stuff. Takahashi's Pocket Romanized Japanese Dictionary. This is romanized. So a Romaji. This stupid little book, I think they go for like 25, $30. Like, and like, good luck finding them cheaper. Um, and I paid 20 used at a bookstore for this. But I go online and I'm seeing them for like almost like double sometimes. So I'm holding on to it. I might sell it if I need the cash. Another Langenscheidt Standard Dictionary. This is the French English. I don't have a real interest in learning Romance languages. I speak Spanish. It was my first language. It is now English is my dominant language, but I'm still conversational in Spanish, and but I've never had a big interest in learning French or Italian or Portuguese or Romanian. I've had some interest, but like nowhere near as much as like my wanting to learn like Russian or Japanese or Estonian, Slovenian, even like Tamil. Vanakkam, Vanakkam. I want to learn Tamil. Anyway, more. This is the Larousse Spanish Dictionary, 2000, sorry, 230,000 words, expressions and translations. Nice chunky book. Uh, would be useful to somebody at the intermediate level. I picked this book up used long time ago. You can see the yellow here. This is just an Italian English dictionary. Nothing to say about it. This is another grammar book. Sorry, this is another Quechua book. There's different dialects of Quechua. This is the Gramática Quechua Ayacucho Chanca by Soto Ruiz. Clodoaldo Soto Ruiz. Ministerio de Educación, Instituto de Estudios Peruanos. I'm Peruvian. Um, yeah, so I wouldn't use this to learn the language, but it's got some interesting things in there. A dash of Doric, the wit and wisdom of the Northeast. Robbie Shepard and Norman Harper. So this is just like, yeah, they're short stories, humorous stories in English, not in Doric. Like, good luck if he was in Doric. But they throw in some Doric words, some expressions, kind of like you would if you would read like the Irish, like something like that, or Irish. I have this five language dictionary. It covers Spanish, French, Italian, English. So the Italian, French, Spanish, obviously Romance languages, and then English and German are Germanic languages. But English has a lot of Spanish in it, and obviously English has a lot of German in it. Uh, yeah. So for example, you'll get picture, and then you get the word in five different languages. So for example, a quilt. What are the languages though? Uh, Ledredon. Ledredon sounds like the Italian one, or maybe the French one actually. Yeah, yeah, it sounds like the French one. Die Steppdecke, definitely German. La Colcha, definitely Spanish. La Trapunta, that must be the Italian. Okay, more now, not Gaelic, not Doric, but actually Scots dictionary. Good stuff. Good dictionary, by the way. Another Scots dictionary. This is by the Scottish Language Dictionaries, and this is by. Is this the same book and just different? The Scots. I won't bother to look. I have this dictionary. And finally, I have second year Latin Jenny's. Another. This is second year. I don't know what my first year is, but anyway, Jenny's is a good way to go if you want to learn Latin. It's probably one of my top three favorite. Like if I were to study Latin on my own from the beginning and I didn't know Latin, or if I would recommend a Latin series, this Jenny's would be one of the three like I would highly consider. So okay, so I have this one, and that's it. That is second installment of my language books. Over here, as you can see, these boxes. This is language. This is language. This is language. I'm assuming the bottom two are language, but I don't know for sure. Over here, off to the right, I have more language books. And in storage, I have more language books. Okay, so I don't know when the series will end. Like I'm gonna say like five or six installments and it should be done. So this was number two. All right, that's it. So let me close this because I get long-winded. Later. See you guys. Again, if I really like language books. If there's a particular language text that you like highly recommend, you're like, this is exceptional. Like the Gaelic books I showed you by Watson, exceptional. The Estonian textbook by Tuldava, exceptional. Like I would those would be my go-to books if I were learning it. The Jenny is pretty good. Like I'm fine recommending Jenny to you if you're gonna learn Latin pick up the Jenny book one, and then you don't have to pick up the whole set like I do, like an idiot, and then drop the language. But pick up book one. If you go through book one, then get book two. Um, yeah. Okay. So that's it. All right. So let me know in the comments later.